To the parents of student athletes, graduation season doesn't just belong to the students. It belongs to the parents too. The ones who have tied cleats, driven to early and late night practices, stayed up for those long late night study sessions, and quietly carried their children's worries alongside their own.
Hello, and thank you for joining the Champion Within podcast, your premier go-to spot for unlocking your winning mindset. Whether you're an athlete looking to elevate your game to the next level, a coach leading the charge, an enthusiastic parent cheering from the sidelines, or an educator molding young minds, the Champion Within podcast episodes are packed with value, sharing the tools and strategies to unlock your potential and rise to new heights. Hosted by mentor, coach, and mindset leader Kate McCauley. Let's sit back and enjoy today's episode while discovering your champion within. And now, here's Kate.
Thank you for joining me today on the Champion Within podcast. I'm going to say this right up front. I'm really emotional as I record this, and I am recording it a little bit early. When you hear this on June 9th, my daughter will be graduating today. When she got her cap and gown to make sure it fits right, I'm watching her zip up the gown and adjust her cap. I felt just two things all at once. Pride, and it was so big it almost hurt, and a deep ache knowing that this chapter of her life and our life together, that it was closing. Crazy. Graduation season doesn't just belong to the students. It belongs to us parents too. We've driven to all these practices. We're staying up late, helping them study, helping them figure out all these schedules. And to be honest, we quietly, maybe sometimes we were complaining to some of our sideline people, we were worried about our kids, right? We're carrying our kids' worries alongside our worries, their worries, we're carrying it all. There's photos, there's flowers, there's long speeches, but under all of that, there are real emotions: excitement, fear, hope, grief, pressure, possibility. For the graduates, yes, and for us too, as the parents. In big moments like this, of course, mindset becomes the foundation. It's a quiet foundation, though, under everything. It shapes how our kids see themselves. When they step out into the, and I say this in quotes, the real world, it really does shape how we, as their parents, let go, how we support, how we grow alongside them, because we are growing right alongside them. The questions that are going to come up, what are they going to do next, right? Everyone's asking these questions. Who are we becoming as they take this next step? People ask them questions, but really they're asking us questions too. And what mindset do we want to model for them? You really should stop and consider that. Because when people ask them, again, in quotes, about the real world, it's for them and for us. You've definitely heard someone say this to them recently. If you have a graduate this year in the class of 2026 or in recent years or in coming years, you're going to hear this. Welcome to the real world. It's usually said to the graduate, but if we're going to be honest, it applies to the parents too. The roles are completely shifting. The routines are changing. The control we once had, it's loosening, as it should. Whether our children are finishing either high school, university, any other kind of training that they had, for them, the real world might feel something like job, some type of new study. Maybe they're going off to college, a new city, new people. For us, it can mean more of watching than directing, more listening than instructing, more trusting than checking. The reality is there's no single real world, again in quotes. And we're waiting on the other side of this ceremony, the big graduation, where there's these endless possibilities, the paths. We hear all the big speeches, and I know these speeches are coming. And these things are possible for our children and for us. The key question isn't just, can they handle the real world? It's also, how will I choose to meet this new season as their parent? One of the biggest questions for me and for parents that I've worked with when I'm working with student athletes is, how am I going to choose to meet this new season? How am I going to meet this new season specifically as their parents? Two families can go through that same transition, a child moving out, job, gap year, whatever is planned, and they can have a totally different experience. I need to jump in here. Coach, quick question. Do your athletes look amazing at practice, but when the game gets tight or you have a big competition, they panic, lose focus, fall apart, start talking negatively before they even compete, missed plays, bad body language, heads down? You know they have the talent, but pressure is winning. That's not a talent problem. That's a mental side of the sport problem. I run a team program called The Champion Within, where I train athletes using my CHAMP framework: confidence, habits, attitude, mental imagery, and purpose. I literally retrain their brains so they know how to stay calm, get focused, and compete like the champions they are. When the moments get big, they need to know how to regulate their nervous system. It needs to be automatic. The teams that win consistently, they train their minds, not just their bodies. Just go down to the show notes, click on the link, or send me a DM on Instagram with the word team, and I'll get you everything you need. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. Of course, everybody's journey is going to be unique, as it should be. If you let the fear overcome you, and you're so worried about things and you just spiral into this state of fear and they start controlling too much, right? But another parent might say, okay, I'm feeling worried, but they choose instead to be curious and they try to support, stay grounded, and they have this faith that, you know what, my kid's got the capacity to handle this. That's a really different mindset. You want to be focused on that growth mindset. Let the kid take their own journey. We talk about growth mindset a lot on the podcast and all the work I do with people, whether they're a young athlete, middle school, high school, college, really even into the pro level when I'm working with people, because they're often young too. Graduation season, it's a crossroad really, where the voice in their head can start to say things like, you're either capable or you're not. That inner chatter in their head, we want that to be something that is more towards the growth mindset, right? We want them to focus on being capable. You want to hear things like, you're learning and you can grow. Graduation is a time when that inner chatter can get sort of loud and sometimes scary. When your graduate has the growth mindset, you want to be encouraging things like, everything is figure outable. If they're leaning more towards a fixed mindset, and if you're saying things like, you're just not the kind of person who succeeds, or they're hearing that in their brain, that's what they're going to believe. If they're saying things or thinking things like, if I don't get this job, or if I don't get into this school, whatever it is, I'm a failure, that's what they're going to believe. You want to shift towards, I can learn what I don't know yet. This is new. And it's okay to be a beginner. There's another layer that we don't often name: our personal mindset if we're the parents. If we have a fixed mindset as a parent, we're thinking, I've either raised them well enough by now or I haven't. If they struggle, it means I failed. No, we want to shift to the growth mindset. If you're going to be growth mindset oriented, you're saying things like, I've done my best with what I knew, and I can keep growing as a parent. Challenges for them are not proof that I failed. Challenges are going to pop up, and it is opportunities for both of us to learn. Remember that our kids are going to watch how we respond to their setbacks, not just our own setbacks. If we panic and we start going into this, it's a catastrophe mode, right? Or we rush to rescue them every single time, we unintentionally send this message to them that they can't handle this. If we acknowledge that there is difficulty, we can offer support and still hold them capable and say, you got this. We send a very different message. This is hard, but I believe in you. That's the message we want to send, right? I'm here for you if you need me, but I know you can do this. their inner voice and ours and the graduation external noise, it's going to get loud. All the what's next? What are you doing with your degree, your life? Do you have a job? What college are you going to? Remember, for our kids, that can turn into this internal script of, oh, I'm behind. I don't know enough. Oh my gosh, everyone else has it figured out. Remember, the inner voice might be saying, have I prepared them enough? Our inner voice as the parents. Are they ready? Who am I now that they don't need me in the same way? Shift that internal chatter to the growth mindset. When I'm working with people in mindset coaching, whether it's a team, it's a company, whoever it is I'm working with, we start out with the sport or work, whatever the situation is, and it often shifts over to family because our brain doesn't turn off. When we're doing this and we start talking about the inner dialogue, we look at how we're speaking to ourselves and whether that voice is helping us or harming us. And this goes for me too. I was texting with a really close friend of mine. We were working together with some senior stuff this year, and we were like, is this really happening? This is getting real now. And I wrote back, I don't know if I'm going to be okay in August when they both leave. And I had to pause and then remember what I teach everyone else. I'm going to be okay. We'll all figure it out. Our graduates, they're going to be learning to notice the challenges that come up, and that if this self-talk is harsh, that the most powerful thing to do is shift it, talk back. It's the same tools that you use when you're in that job situation, the athlete who's training. Use that breath work, the visualization, the self-talk. You can pause. You can talk to yourself differently. And remind yourself that you're allowed to feel emotional about a change and that you can support your kid, you can support yourself as you learn and grow. The most successful people do that. They don't just say, oh, well, this is how it's got to be. No. When you do that work, you're modeling something for your kid too. Our kids don't just need to see us strong. They need to see us as real humans. In the real world, pressure, uncertainty, comparison, they're actual things that are going to happen for them and for us. When you show them and model it, that pressure might show up in a lot of different forms. And for graduates, it might be this expectation to land the perfect job, find their passion immediately. Like, are you kidding me? Who can do that to make something of yourself right away? Just remind them and yourself that it can be okay to take a breath. Just pause, because our worth, our parenting, their journey, our family, all the other things, we can make a long list. It's okay if we don't have the answers right away. And it's okay if you do think you have the answers. Uncertainty is definitely everywhere this season. They might be wondering, did I choose the right path? What if I fail? And we might be asking questions. Will they be okay out there? What does our relationship look like now? And then, of course, that comparison that I just mentioned. Our children are going to be scrolling through social media. We're going to be doing it too. And we see their peers announcing all the dream colleges or dream jobs, if it's the college graduation, overseas moves, the big achievements. And, as we scroll too, and the parents talking about all their kids' scholarships, promotions, the spotlights, it is really easy for us to feel like our kid is maybe less than, or I could have done more. But a strong, grounded mindset, it's not going to remove the pressure, the uncertainty, or the comparison, but it 100% will help you move through it differently. You can acknowledge, yes, this is a big moment, and I feel a lot of this, and I'm just going to choose how I respond to this. That choice is available to your kids, and it's available to us as the parent. I'm not saying it's going to be sunshine and rainbows. I would never say that. Every time I'm in a workshop, I remind people I didn't ride there on my unicorn, right? But some tools that you can use so that it can be a little more simple. Well, not always simple, but effective, at very minimum, effective for your performance, your emotional well-being. And they're not just for young adults. They can be used as a very powerful tool for their parents as well. When you're navigating this is breath work, visualization, all my favorite things. When a graduate is heading into an interview or college, or a parent is sitting in the audience holding back tears, breath work is a fast way to anchor the body. Slow, conscious breathing calms the nervous system so you can think clearly and stay present. In just a few short minutes, when you practice breathing in for 4, hold for 4, out for 6, you can shift your whole state. Practice it before the graduation. There's a little tip for you. And if you are the graduate or you want to give your graduate a tip, you can use visualization, mentally rehearse walking into that graduation or the new workplace with confidence. Of course, parents can use visualization as well and throw the breath work in with the visualization, even better. But imagine calmly saying goodbye at university drop off or driving away, grounded rather than overwhelmed. When we repeatedly picture ourselves handling a situation well, our brain becomes familiar with that. And we believe that this is in our capacity to do exactly that. There are so many other tools that you can use in this situation, but breath work and visualization are probably my top 2. So that's what I'm going to drop and leave with you today. I want you to remember that graduation can definitely trigger some old stories that you're not smart enough. I always mess up. Letting go means losing them. But I need you to remember that whether you're a young adult, a graduate, a parent, whatever it is, that you are making space to respond instead of react. And when you learn these tools together, something really cool happens and you have this mindset shift. Instead of that one person trying to be the strong one, you become a team with a shared language and the shared practice for handling stress, fear, and this transition into the next pretty cool chapter. I'm wishing success for you, for them, and you know I'm here for you if you need anything. Feel free to reach out to me or just tell me about anything that's going on with them. I would love to celebrate them or just write back like, yeah, that crazy stuff's happening here too. I can relate. Thank you for hanging out with me today on The Champion Within. Go down to the show notes. Connect with me in all the different ways. If you want to set up a training for your company, your educators, or your athletes, go down to the show notes. That's there as well. Or you want to connect on social media. All the links are down there. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you on the next episode.
Thank you for hanging out with Kate today. And whether you're going to coach, teach, cheer from the sidelines, or hitting the field yourself, remember, mindset is everything. Don't forget to follow the show for the latest episodes, as we all need a little extra motivation, humor, and sanity in our busy lives. Now, go and unleash your champion within you, one step at a time. We're always rooting for you.